welcome to my channel. For this next pick a card, I want to thank you repeat offenders for showing up, true and blue. And for those of you that are new, of course, a very warm welcome. I hope that you find a place here that makes you feel happy and welcome. And without further ado, this reading we're going to be doing what shocks people about you. So let's get into it. If you chose clip number 1, and I do hope that you enjoy how we're doing these readings, a little bit different than just piles. We're going to call them clip number 1, clip number 2, and clip number 3, otherwise known as piles, because I might slip and that's how we roll, right? But for the very first clip or pile, whatever you want to call it, we are going to get it. So what shocks people about you? Look at that beautiful. I'm going to put that in here too so you can see how lovely. Maybe it doesn't want to stay. Okay. So for pile number 1, clip number 1, what is it that shocks people about you? Let's find out. Oh gosh, that's funny because I was looking at this before I even shuffled. So what shocks people about you is how you move on, how you are able to take your experiences, as dark, I feel, as some of them have been, some really trying times. You're able to anchor onto hope, anchor onto a dream, anchor onto something that most of us can't even see or understand in order to progress and move forward. I feel like even with the smoke, if we're doing kind of like a smoke read, let's move this back into the picture. It was a steady stream going up on high. And I feel like with that indicates here that you have the ability to constantly move on, reach higher, and that you're steady. People don't see a break in your stride in as much as things get tough. See, that smoke is just rising to the top. It almost looks like candle. What a trip. It looks like a candle, you guys. And so I feel like we get leveled, we get mesmerized, we get floored at how powerful you really are, how you're able to overcome, how you're able to take those experiences with you and move it forward. You don't stay sitting in sadness for long. Things may not seem clear to you, but you have like a strong faith and hope, which is shown here by this beautiful star, and also depicted by the anchor, that you know that you have a dream, that you have hope. I feel like you also have a lot of faith, and people are really stunned by this. Now, you could be someone who comes from a very small island. Maybe you're raised on an island, maybe born on an island, maybe you lived in such a remote place that it felt like an island almost. Or perhaps wherever you lived was surrounded by water, such as like Florida, or anything like that. But bottom line is here that you have, you have the ability to even wear your scars and where you've come from in such a beautiful and humble and honest way that it's become her gown. I never noticed that before. And so we appreciate that about you, that you don't get bitter necessarily, that you understand that there's a higher power driving this whole force, and you make the best of things. I do feel like for you serve as an inspiration yourself. So while this is like your start that you're anchoring on, you may be someone that people anchor onto in order to feel hope and to feel that optimism that you have. That and I'm hearing, almost hearing you, clip number 1 or pile number 1, just say back, what do you mean optimism? I just like strap on my boots and I keep marching forward. I never look back. And that's how a lot of us survive, is we don't get stuck in paralysis analysis. And it's not easy, but it is very, very beautiful how you do it. Now, what else is it? We think also that you've had a lot of experiences that you haven't shared with us, many, many dark experiences, and that you carry them forward with such grace in order to not only protect yourself and be wiser from the experiences, but also to help others. I feel like there's a helping and a sheltering element. What else is it about our clip number 1, pile number 1, that people find shocking? Please show me now. The 8 of Pentacles. You, my friend, are a hard worker. Nobody can dispute that. You work hard. Some say play hard, but I feel like it's more working hard. You are cloaked with a little bit of mysticism yourself. If you know, she's actually sitting on this book of knowledge almost. And it's like you have a lot of answers and a lot of wisdom, and you seek a lot of answers and wisdom. Like knowledge, there's never knowing enough about any subject matter to you. Whatever you do, you want to do it well. I do feel like your studies are private. You don't necessarily announce, oh, I'm enmeshed in this whole thing of studying about, I don't know, astronomy, astrology, whatever the case may be. And what you do is actually take everything to heart. You really absorb knowledge. And that really gives you, even if you look, the North Star is right here. Like she's still following her star and her true direction. I love that for you. There's a little bit of a self-protective, almost like she's protecting her heart chakra. And I'm having a hard time with my throat chakra. So maybe you're protecting your heart as well as what is that you're doing and researching and studying and putting time, energy, effort into. Now, this does not have to be necessarily work or any formal school. This could be online courses. This could be self-taught. This could be whatever, really. But it's just a thirst for knowledge. And I feel like you're really self-protective, and she's even protecting her throat chakra. She does appear to have a wing. So I feel like whatever it is that you're studying, what you study, really is a little bit of a mystery to us. But what's shocking about us is how graceful you are, how tenacious you are, how in tune with spirit you are, how almost like you are otherworldly, and you're not even, you're like superhuman. Okay, and when people look at you and they even understand a fragment of where you've come from, you are absolutely superhuman. And so that's what we notice about you. What else do we notice? And it's like, I feel like you're an angel to a lot of people. People are like, you're my earth angel, you're my spirit animal. You might get a lot of comments like that. And if you don't, let me tell you, people are looking at you and thinking, wow, that's just like my person. Like they connect with you immediately. Not necessarily because you have like a bond or a connection, but you're so relatable and your energy is so open and warm and loving. Now, again, there is a self-protection, like a vulnerability that you don't let forth completely. You are open and sharing to the extent that it helps other people, but I think you're self-protective when it comes to you and how this might affect you or how other people even affect your energy. So you give, but don't necessarily allow other people to give to you or to help heal you or to help navigate you. You're very private about matters. So what else is shocking about our clip number 1, pile number 1? Let's find out. For your wands, look at her. She is a hustler. She is ready just to get things done, always waiting for the newest gig, waiting to move, waiting to leave. Very patient with a lot of the elements that you have learned. You're not willing to get unwilling, to get yourself dirty. See how she is even submerged in this water or whatever the case may be. It seems like there's a portal behind her. So what's shocking about you is that you will wade the waters. You are not like pristine, not necessarily I don't want to get dirty type thing, but you are definitely someone who will get in there and be patient and wait and do the work. I mean, I think about like underwater welders and things like that. That's the feeling I'm getting with this, is that maybe you're somebody behind the scenes that you do a lot of work. You don't necessarily talk about it, or you're not publicly recognized for it, but you do a lot of work and you carry even the mystery of your ancestors with you, the wisdom of your ancestors, and you get a lot of guidance from the other side. I feel like you're absolutely beautiful and adorable. And And what shocks us about you is that you are still able to go to really deep, dark places and pull back parts of yourself and other people that need to be brought forth in order to aid in healing, in order to help people grow. And the Three of Wands is just putting a lot of labor into things and seeing what comes back to you. So you're willing to give and trusting in the universe that, you know what, I can give maybe in 10 different areas, and 3 of those will come back to me. And you're not necessarily concerned with which ones will, because you realize that a lot of it is not within your control to a certain extent. What comes back to you are going to be good things, because you won't give 10 different projects or people or things energetically, mentally, physically, without knowing that they are good in the long run. I hope that makes sense. I know that was a little bit garbled. But, okay, what else is shocking about you? Clip number 1. Let's find out. 2 of Swords. Now, people get really surprised when you can get into this indecision mode. It seems like you're always go, 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 get, do, and you're not asking questions, you're not taking numbers later, you are just pure action. And I think that people are a little bit shocked to learn that sometimes you get rendered immobile. Like, I don't know what to do, I'm indecisive, I know something has to be done here in this area of my life. But people are going to be really, and are shocked to see that sometimes even you can protect your heart and sit and think about things, things especially that cause a lot of emotion within you, that you have to make a decision on, and yet they seem so difficult. You don't want to make a decision because it seems like anything that you do is going to wind up in a heartbreak, heartache, something like that. And that can be really difficult. So it's kind of shocking to see that with all this action, all this boldness, all this badassery, and I hope you don't mind my saying it that way, is that occasionally and once in a while we might find you. I heard if we're lucky, we might find you if we're lucky, being in a position where you just don't know where to turn or what to do, at a stalemate. And that's quite shocking for us, because that's not who we know. And the reason why we're lucky is that perhaps we can jump in and help and contribute and help you to have more of a human experience, okay? Because you seem so superhuman and otherworldly. All right? Oh my gosh. And the last card for you. What shocks us about you is your level of intuition, the way that you can observe anything, anyone, any situation. You are in tune. You are a true high priestess. I almost thought that was a high priestess when I first pulled it out, but look at it as a world. And I feel like with your wisdom, with your higher wisdom and ability to see right through and cut through the quick, you have this ability to cut your losses, okay? You're like, you know what, this I see as a completion, this is not benefiting me. I sent out my owl, and my owl observed through the wee hours of the morning into the night, all that stuff. And my owl observed that these scenarios are not good for me, these people are not good for me, these cases are not good for me, whatever the case may be. Or this owl observed that I need to make microscopic changes. And so you're putting an end to, for example, if you have 5 projects and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to kind of tweak 2 of those, keep 3 on course. And you're constantly redirecting, refocusing, ending things that do not serve you. It might take a while sometimes, especially with the 2 swords that's behind the world, to decide and pull the trigger on one thing. But for the most part, you just keep it moving. Excuse me. I do feel like your third eye is popping as well. You could be having an awakening time, but definitely you are connected to the lunar phases, connected to your emotion and all of that beautifulness. Now, the last thing I want to do for you is I do have some charms. I've never used them before, so you're the first one to get these used on. So for my clip number 1, what do we have? What do we have to know about my loved ones? Clip number 1. So I got, you have a higher faith. We just talked about that. You have a higher faith. It could be in God, it can be in spirit. You have the ability just to have, I don't know, just pure faith and a pure heart. What else can you say about that cross there? So that's one thing that I have for you. The next thing that I have for you, this was the first charm I pulled for myself. I love this. If you can see that, I hope. Okay, that looks like the little voice thing. So I feel like when you speak, people listen. I feel like you have your finger on the pulse all the time around you. I feel like you intuitively know how to articulate things. Okay, you can actually speak things into fruition. This is all about, I think about the monitors when you go to the hospital and things like that. So we know that you've definitely not flatlined. There's a lot of vitality there. I'm not a nurse, can you tell? Or a doctor, but I just think a lot of this has to do with some of you guys can actually sing beautifully. Actually, your voices can be really beautiful, really soothing, really beckoning, really becoming, okay? Next thing I have here, does that say? Oh, it says joy. Who needs their eyes checked? I do. Okay, so the next thing is joy. Or is it day? Oh my goodness, Grisel, for real? Oh, it says okay. Yeah, somebody needs an eye check, like fast. So it says okay, and that is the nimbus or the infinity symbol. I tend to think of it that way, and just knowing that you have that feeling that everything is going to be okay, that you are divinely protected here is hope, okay? Again, so you have a lot of faith, a lot of hope. You may have a lot of dreams that you continually head to and chip out and carve out your world around you in order to achieve. And I love those things for you. So if you do like this type of reading, I do hope that you will smash that button, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know what clip you were or what pile you were. And with much love, I do hope that you continue being you. I think you're a divine inspiration, and I love this. So thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Hi, pile number 2. We have your reading. Thank you for joining me again. And I'm going to go ahead and light us a little baby sage because I don't want to smoke us out. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. What is shocking about you? What do people find shocking about you? Pile number 2, clip number 2. What is shocking about you? Clip number 2. Let's find out. Oh, wow. Okay. I just had to double check that my cards were not reversed. I have not done reversals in a long time, years actually. But here we have, okay, so we have the Emperor. And what's shocking about you is the Emperor reverse, how you think outside of the box, how you're not going to be led by anyone. You're not nobody's puppet, okay? You are definitely authentic, I'm going to say. You are definitely someone who thinks outside of the box, who is really aware of things on the outside that really control our behavior, confine us, all the masks that people wear. You can see right through that nonsense. And I feel like you're like, nobody puts a baby on a leash, okay? So nobody can harness your energy and your mind. I feel like you're really expansive right off the bat. I think that for you, you are really spunky, sparky. I feel a lot of, I even heard you have to earn my respect. You have to earn my respect simply because you're born into it, or because you have a title, or because you have a paper that has a lot of little letters after it, like PhD or whatever. You're not impressed by any of that, okay? I think that you are able to see people and how they can play their games, chess players, if you will. I also feel like you are really deeply involved in current affairs. I feel like some of you guys can be conspiracy theorists. By the way, that term was coined by the government. No shock there, just to make sure that everything else is ridiculed. And it's really shocking to me how later everything comes out in the open. How, yeah, that was true. But anyways, you guys could be viewed a little bit like not cut from the same mold as everyone else, and a little bit of a danger, a little bit of a gambler, a little bit of a wild child. You might be considered even the black sheep of your family. And what's shocking about you is how little reverence and is it credence? I don't know how to pronounce my words, that you give to things that really leash other people. You see where people see themselves being hemmed in front and back and confined, you find incredible amounts of freedom, and you don't see that. What you actually see is how people allow themselves to be controlled by things such as traditions, such as somebody having titles or feeling entitled, or by somebody making dogma and rules. And you see that people are not awake, that they have really just, they're shadows of themselves. Now, I don't often share like my personal views. I try not to anyways. But I'm going to say, or especially my visions, one thing that I'm going to share with you, just because it's on my mind, and if I don't say it, I feel like Spirit's going to bug me about it. So, see all these people kind of attached by the leashes. I mean, you can go a little ways before this person can yank you and do as they please. Now, I had this like, it was not a dream. It was, I don't know. Let's call it a dream, I guess, to be relatable. And I had this dream where I saw the world, and in the world, like as a global thing, I saw souls being attached to energetically by a cord like this onto the world. So these were people that had passed away, passed on, and they were attached to the world in some way. And basically, in my dream or vision, the higher powers had figured out how to attach that energetically. And how to manipulate energetically, so that basically you were trapped. It was just kind of crazy. But I feel like you could be having like otherworldly visions. You could see really clearly through the smoke and the mirrors. I feel like people might think that you are a little bit like off. Like people might be like, oh, they're off your rocker. Or it's shocking like what that person believes. And then they come around and realize how intellectual you are, how well versed you are, how studied you are, how... if they were but to sit down and open their minds and even think that perhaps you might have something of worth to say, they would be shocked at how well versed you are, how well educated you are, how much substance there is in you. Okay? And I feel like you don't care. I don't feel like you really much care. What else is shocking about our clip number 2? Pile number 2. Let's find out. The Four of Cups. Look, you don't care. You have an ability just to be yourself, to be dreamy, to be incredibly beautiful. You're not going to accept less than. If you think that people are in your world to control you, in your life to control you, that includes boyfriends, husbands, wives, family, whatever the case may be, you're not going to be having it. You have the ability. She has a vibe of almost like the Hanged Man, being able to look at things from a different perspective. And when you look at things with eyes such as yourself, my beautiful clip number 2, I feel like you have a divine wisdom that a lot of us do not have, a perspective that is completely unique. I mean, who do you see people laying down with their head on steps like that, and their hair with just like abandoned, not even caring if their hair gets dirty or whatever? You're willing to look at things from a different perspective. And I feel like the hair, you know, that's like typically considered crown of glory in a lot of traditions. And so even that is just saying that you're willing to get your hands dirty, your hair dirty. You don't really care. As long as you look, you're going to look under the hood. You're going to kick the tires, for lack of a better way of putting it, in order to get to the truth. And you want to see things really clear. So sometimes I feel like you're going to hold off on judgment until you examine everything from every angle. And I love this for you. So what else do we have? What else is shocking? I feel like you're actually just the stunner. You might be my quintessential hippie. I don't feel like you dress the same as everybody else. You're not cookie cutter by a long shot. And yet we are magnetically drawn to you, okay? Clip number 2, we can't keep our eyes off you. There's something very sensual, very powerful, very sexy, but also very primal about you. A little bit like a jungle animal. So what else is shocking about you? Let's find out. The Five of Wands, how you're willing to go to battle for things that you see you believe in, how you're willing to stand up for the little guy, the little girl, the things that are not serving you or anyone else. And by the way, I did say this was timeless, so this is not a Christmassy thing. Okay, let's see if we can do this instead. There. Okay. I feel like you have the ability to do away with the fog in people's minds, and people don't want to see the truth, but I feel like you have a way of unblocking people's eyes, whether they like it or not, that when you speak, you have a lot of rhyme and reason, you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of knowledge, you have facts to back up your words, back up your theories, back up your knowledge, and this really disturbs people because I feel like we like the old, the true. We don't want to understand perhaps that we've been bamboozled or deceived in any way, shape, and form. And this could be like when you're addressing anyone about their marriage, about their relationships, about the world as we see it today, whatever the case may be, you have the ability to move this fog away and reveal what is behind the fog. You're like, no, this is some bullshit. This is really what's going on. And if you look at it, everybody knows that there's this like old building here, and yet they're turning away from it. And I feel like you force people to look at things that they would rather not look at, that are completely true, that are completely liberating, okay? Because we're going back to the freedom that we see back here, but they don't want to face. So for whatever reason, people are really stuck in old modes of thinking, and sometimes they just want to cling to whatever they've always done. If it's a marriage we're talking about, relationship, they want to stick to what they know. So, and I'm just gonna say a lot of us can be like that. We don't want our world jarred any more than what it has been, right? What else do we need to know about pile number 2? What is shocking about pile number 2? Let's find out. I feel like I fit into this pile. The wheel, okay? So this is traditionally the Wheel of Fortune, right? And I feel like, look at, she has a ball of yarn. It's almost playful, and it's almost like the Fates, the Sisters of Fate. Or, oh my gosh, I can't remember what they're called right now. But you see 3 people right here, and you're able to see all the phases of, let's say, dismay, of curiosity, and then of mastery. And so I feel like you are able to go through those phases really quickly, seamlessly, and almost playfully. Like, you'll look at things and go, oh my goodness, is this, this is happening, and I can't believe. And then as quickly as that comes, you look at it, it's like, okay, what's the fabric of this? What is this whole thing made of? What is this whole fear? Why am I so afraid? And how do I fit into this? And how do I disengage and play a little bit? Okay, well, this has been something that's been controlling me, or this is something, a fiber that I have allowed woven into my life. And by that, I've been controlled, or I've been in a state where I'm not happy, and it's made me depressed. And okay, well, now I see that thread. Now I'm going to unravel the ball of yarn and free myself and make endings. Okay, I'm going to end that which controls me, that which causes me fear. I'm going to live in curiosity and mastery. So I feel like you are a true blue. There's really no one quite like you. You are so different. You might even be an energy worker. You might be able to play with energy. You might be interested in telepathy and psychometry. You might also have weird hobbies. So my hobbies, let's say like remote viewing, things like that. And so I feel like, whereas most of us get caught up with this Wheel of Fortune traditional turning, we're on the edges and we have really highs, really lows, and it's almost like being on a Ferris wheel at a carnival or whatever the case may be. But that plunges us into our emotions a lot. Now, you have the ability to quickly ascend to the center of that wheel. And the more we are closer to the center, the less movement there is, the more stable we are. And therefore, that is when we have the whole ball of yarn, the whole ball of wax, whatever the case may be. And we can master ourselves. We master our emotions. We can master our energy. and really allow things to work for us and see with clarity and not be caught on emotion. So maybe also there are cases that people just see, like, 1 minute you could appear, okay, you could appear manic to some people, where 1 minute you're freaking out and then you quickly move through these phases of mastery, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got this, okay, I understand it. It might take you like 15 minutes to make peace with something, or if people are taking years or maybe never, being able to understand and get to the center of that wheel mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and wrap their brain around the fact that there's a lot of stability to be had, and how you have to kind of grow through things and go through things in order to get to the center. I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought. I feel like people can just see you basically as somebody who is manic, who's like 1 minute, oh, you were just in fear. You were, for example, with COVID, like, wearing gloves and doing this and not adhering to all the guidelines. And then all of a sudden we see you all the way up here into self-mastery. And it's very confusing and jarring for the rest of everyone else. It'd be shocking that, within that small time span, you achieve that mastery, and you're like, okay, well, this is what it is, and I'm the master of fear is not my master. I love that for you. That's really powerful, okay? That's a powerful place to be. So next we're going to go ahead and do charms. I'm sorry if this is super loud, but I'm going to go ahead and pull some charms for you. Charms for our clip number 2. Okay, so the first thing, again, we have this little guy, which is my favorite out of all of them. Let's see if we can get that on camera. So this is the ability to speak your truth, to keep a finger on the pulse, to be able to articulate things. You could have a really beautiful voice, by the way. You could have a cadence to you when you talk, when you speak, when you address people that is so unusual, so different that you actually stop people. Now, this is an example, but my grandmother used to, once in a while, she would like sit by me and she would be telling a story, and she would be talking to me like this, and then all of a sudden she would lean over and whisper something, and I'm like, why are you whispering? And it had nothing to do with like a secret or anything, but she would, for example, say, yeah, I went to Fry's and then you would not believe what I saw. There was a big sale. And I'm like, why is this a secret? Why are we whispering? So you could have a real engaging way of speaking, a mastery about how you speak, in fact, that leads others to be riveted. Now, there's an element of you also being a mermaid. So I think that you're viewed as unusual. Some of you guys are viewed as being a siren as well. You're like irresistible. In spite of all the things that we see that kind of shocks us, that confuses us, they can't take their eyes off of you. We can't take our eyes off of you, okay? So I think that you could be very beautiful, could have really interesting hair, multicolored hair, beautiful figure. I think that you're just incredibly unique, and you are divinely protected for sure. And in spite of all of this, you are on a quest for peace. So I feel like your mission in life is perhaps to awaken people, but also to have a lot of peace, to bring about peace. You could be focused on world peace, things like that. And people find that shocking, because all of this, and then all of a sudden we're talking about peace. We're talking about love. We're talking about divine protection and God's protection. And so you are just a mixed bag of, and people have no idea. And it's shocking and it's riveting, and we can't get enough of you. So with those messages, I do hope that they resonate. I hope that you are doing well. Much love to you. My clip number 2. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe. Smash that button. Much appreciated. And namaste. Hi, pile number 3. We are here to find out what is shocking about thee. I know, I'm a dork. So thank you again for joining me. If this is your pile, here we go. What is shocking about for my clip number 3? Those of you that chose clip number 3, let's find out. King of Swords. You are somebody who does not mess around. You could be viewed as being very exotic, or you like to dress exotically. There might be something very androgynous about you. I feel like you have a lot of wisdom, a bird's eye view, if you will. You could be connected to birds as messengers, spirit animal totems. Where you go places, you can actually see birds that appear to you in order to like communicate with you, or I don't know, like with me personally, when I see, I think they're called grackles, or ravens or crows, any of the blackbirds, I just love them so much. And I had one like fly right in front of me and perch at the very top of this pole, and I happened to be walking, and I was so thrilled. I was super excited. To me, that was just like the best thing that could have happened. I love talking to them. But anyways, and then I came out of another store and I found a grackle. Again, I need to know what they're called. And it was under my car, and it had a wrapper, a Snickers wrapper, which I thought was really amusing and very interesting. So I feel like you're somebody who observes. You're an observer. And even you might snicker to yourself when you observe other people doing things. You might maybe tongue-in-cheek, low-key laugh at them. Okay, like for example, you might be looking at this reading going, you're such a dork, or whatever. Or you're still doing this, I can't believe you would waste your time, or whatever. Things like that. I think that you're really astute. I don't think that you overtly mock people. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I don't think that you're mean-spirited, but you might be amused. And I think that you come from a lot of old school. You could have a lot of old books. You could be into botany botany and herbs and things like that. You can love old school books, or you could even love when you were younger, even taking flowers and pressing them in a book and then seeing how they look when they're dried. You could be really attracted to things like that. You could be also somebody who likes to dehydrate. This is kind of for one person, but you might be someone who really enjoys dehydrating foods and things like that for like homesteading, or you could be a prepper. So I feel like whatever it is that you do, I feel like you hold on to tradition quite a bit. Maybe you've learned skills and things from your family, friends and family. I do feel like you have that King of Sword. That King of Sword is the sword that wants the truth and nothing but the truth. You have the ability to cut through the BS. You are very trustworthy. People come to you for advice, especially financial advice or even relationship advice, where people want to get a clear idea of what's going on. You may have, once in a while, you may feel like you have brain fog or something like that, like cloudiness, but you zoom in with this lens of precision, and then you cut out everything that doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense and it doesn't fit into the equation, it's very simple for you. People can see you as being a little bit detached, a little bit unemotional, but really you're just factual, and I think it's lovely, really. So that is one thing that we're noticing that's really shocking about you. I feel like you know a lot more than you say as well. What else do we find shocking about clip number 3? Clip number 3, pile number 3. What's shocking about thee? Let's find out. The Nine of Pentacles. In so much as you have this energy of, I will cut a mother. If you do me wrong, if you do my friends wrong, I will cut you to the quick, and you seem to not feel about things. You're very much a Nine of Pentacles person. So yes, I feel like you do well. You could be single. I feel like you do well on your own. You could really love luxurious things around you. When you shop for your home and things like that, you don't go to Goodwill necessarily. You pick everything that's really beautiful. I think of Fran from The Nanny, and she had, those of you that are old enough to know, she had a home that was just really beautiful, and it made an impact on me. It was like with a lot of woods, like beachy woods and things like that, but it was monochromatic. It was very subtle blendings of creams and wood color and golds, I think. But it was so beautiful, and whites, of course, that I was just kind of rendered like, wow, I never would have thought that that was her style. And I think that people are shocked to see how incredibly feminine, how incredibly beautiful, even if you're male, how you can embody that. If people were to look beyond, because I think that people kind of fear you. Okay, people could be a little bit afraid of you, of your energy, because they're afraid to be cut or afraid of what you're going to observe. And I think that people tend to shy and want to hide a little bit from around you. But I think that you are incredibly beautiful. I think you love. Hi, puppy doll. Sorry, my puppy's here to visit during this reading. Hi. So if you hear funny breathing, that was my puppy here visiting with us. And so I think that people look at you, and people will be really shocked to see that maybe you have beautiful robes, that you love a luxurious robe or two, or that you dress in beautiful gowns when you're at home because it makes you feel good and you're embodying your full essence. I think that you are, again, financially stable by yourself. You could have a vanity that is really alluring and beautiful, like a really big mirror with some backlighting or something like that. People are shocked by how feminine you are and how alluring you can be once they get over the, whoa, I can't believe, the initial front of you being a person who can cut people to the quick. Not that you cannot, obviously you can, but it's shocking just how you can embody your sensuality is what I've been trying to say this whole time. Pile number 3. Oh my gosh, now I have puppy doll hair on my hands. So you might have some sparkles show up in your reading. The 10 of Pentacles right here. And so, look, again, reference to money. You could be like a shaman. You could be somebody who is into shamanism. You could possibly go see a shaman. You could be intrigued by things like that. You could do tantric work, tantric sex, tantric breathing, breath work. I do feel like you're connected to things that are a little bit different and odd in the modes of healing. You're not, like herbology, is that a thing? Is that a word? Basically healing with herbs and things like that. And naturopathic medicine is more your style, homeopathic. So, oh, puppy doll. And I feel like during these things you could be even exploring the world of like dance or shaking. That's where you shake to get rid of old energy and things like that and move it through the body and process it. So I feel like you in a lot of ways are a great mystery, because while you see everything, you give nothing away, really. And it's a little bit shocking that you appear just to be so mysterious. So what else do we need to know about 3? What is shocking about being pile number 3? And I feel like all of these readings have come out really, really interesting. It is a shock to me anyways. So pile number 3, what's shocking about thee? Let's find out. The Strength card. You're very powerful, but you've learned inner mastery. Again, you can like dressing in white, cream colors, lighter colors, earth tones. Very understated and allow your body and your skin to shine through. Whereas you wear the clothing does not wear you. I feel like you might have intense eyes, intense gazes. I feel like you've been through quite a bit and you are super tough as nails, but incredibly beautiful underneath. And people may not see that initially, okay? They might just see kind of somebody who's really strong or a little bit scary, but you are incredibly alluring. I think that you can get a little bit nostalgic and in your emotions once in a while. People, when they come across you, you might be in that energy and they might be really shocked and be super curious. It's like, wow, what makes this person look so sad, or look at, it's almost like you're looking and being vulnerable in a moment where you're not aware that people can see you. And that adds so much mystery to you. But what's shocking also is that you have the ability to master your inner demons, your primal, I don't know, you can't push off here. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. Sorry. Yeah, actually, I have my dog on my lap and she's pretty feral. No. Okay. Don't growl. Don't growl. You're welcome, guys. Don't growl, puppy dog. You be nice. You be nice. So you have the ability, just like puppy doll here, to be nice if she wants. But most of the time she's pretty grouchy. And I think that people are really shocked by you, by your soft side, by your mastery of little creatures like puppy doll here. Okay. Then you're gonna have to go on the floor, brat. You have divine protection. People can see that as well. But also, okay. Sorry. Give me 1 minute here. Okay. That was all you. You can't have what you want all the time, little girl. So I feel like there's a lot of lust around you as well. So I think that people, when they look at you in that vulnerable state, or that state of you're not aware that you're being observed, which is rare, okay, super rare, that you let your guard down, that you let your vulnerability shine through. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's very beautiful. And it's super alluring because it is such a, almost like velvet gloves, or it's such a different part of you that we are shocked to see that. And I think that you are actually raw sexuality. I heard sex on a stick. That's great. But you could be someone who is really alluring and attractive. If intimidating, okay? I feel like very intimidating, intense, okay? You could have different colored eyes. Eyes that are intense, eyes that are like lighter in color, that just bore a hole through people's soul. That's what I heard. And again, the element of lust, like people could be afraid and turned on at the same time. I kid you not, okay? So that's so funny. Let's go ahead and pull some charms for you, and I'm hoping this is not super loud. Charms for my clip number 3. What do we have here, please? Okay. We have love. We have love. And the mermaid comes out again. So I feel like in your case, you are more like a siren. Like people want to love you. People want you. And then this right here is more like, I feel like this is more about your, is it family crescent? Sometimes I don't pronounce things properly, but it's almost like those old family heirloom things that you would have, like, okay, these are my family colors, like if you live in a castle, and they would have like this shield symbolizing their family crescent. Is that how you say it? Please do correct me. Anyways, I think that you stand a lot for tradition, but people are able to see that you are a siren and they actually want to love you. And that's shocking because you could be a tough cookie as well, as we did cover earlier. And of course, intimidating. But with the siren, she lures people. So I feel like you lure people in when you could just appear tough and people are like, oh, she's so tough. That's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of the story with you. My clip number 3 is this is a beginning of you being somebody who is so alluring and so beckoning that people are afraid. You swim through depths that other people are not familiar with. You have a mastery of your emotions, a mastery of your inner desires and demons, and that could be a little bit confusing and a little bit of a turn on as well. Some of you guys could be into this is weird, a little bit of a dominatrix vibe, and so when people see you, they could be like, wow, I want to be her sub or his sub, whatever the case may be. And it could be really shocking to have that reaction. Maybe you've never felt that way before, but when we look at you, that's what we think. And with that siren, it's like, I heard F it if we have to get in the water and follow that siren, that mermaid, that gorgeousness. It might lead us to our death. We might shipwreck, crash, and burn, but I'm doing it because you are that hot, that sexy. And I'm shocked that I'm attracted to that, you know? So you might be the type that you just really stun people with your raw sexual appeal and your ability. You know what? I'm getting Xena vibes. I'm getting strong Xena vibes. Okay? So she was incredibly hot and beautiful, but also scary. So that's what I'm getting for you. I do hope if you like this style of reading, you do give me a thumbs up, like, share, comment, smash that like button, please. And subscribe, most of all. Do let me know what pal you were, what clip you were, and namaste. Much love to you.